Alright, as of a couple weeks ago, we have fully discussed every single Jovian mobile suit and armor, as well as other items like boats. Well, at the very least when they were part of a full empire. They are still an empire afterwards, but not as strong or united. Actually, I say that. They were smaller. Today, we will be continuing to comb through our other universe Jovian brothers and sisters arsenal, especially the ones we see in Crossbone's Cullheart and Steel 7. I just realized that as I'm writing this line right now, there are only 4 machines that we will be going through today, so this might be a short one, yes. I basically just wrote down my thoughts into this script. Anyway, let us begin with the first one, the titular mobile suit of this video, Jupiter's very own Gundam, the Amakusa. I don't know why I'm talking about this. Following its defeat during the Jupiter War, the Jupiter Empire pulled its forces back into its sphere of space and began to reconsolidate its military for another invasion. Many projects were launched during the next 6 years to apply the lessons they've learned from the first invasion. For example, since the Empire was unable to match the overall balance of Earth mobile suits, why am I talking like this? They instead opted to overwhelm them with pure numbers. This led to the development of the cheaper Arana Batala, which became the standard issue mobile suit for their military. You can learn more about this in the first Jupiter video, the Batala video. This gave the already resource-strapped Empire the ability to divert instead what little it had into limited but powerful superweapons that would accomplish key objectives as the hordes of Arana Batalas kept their enemies at bay. One of these superweapons was the Amakusa, Jupiter's very own Gundam. The Amakusa is one of the few non-Earth sphere-based Gundams in the entire UC timeline. Most Gundams, as we all know, are created by Anaheim Electronics or SNRI, companies that are associated with the Earth Federation. Now, I know there's like few non-Earth-based Gundams. I think Moon Gundam is one of them. I think Moon Gundam is like, I think Zeon made it Moon Gundam. I don't know, I haven't read it yet. The Amakusa is probably like the furthest Gundam in quotation marks there is in the UC timeline. What with it being built so far away from the Earth sphere that it's essentially its own thing. I'm sure that some of you are already debating the whole Gundam title this thing gets, but for the sake of it, we'll call it a Gundam for this video. That, and it was based on 2 Gundams. Yes, you heard that right. The Amakusa was built on data based on 2 previous Gundams, one of which was the original, the RX-78. During the First War, Zabin Charu defected to the Jupiter Empire, bringing with him his X2 Crossbone Gundam. Obviously, this allowed Jupiter engineers to study and reverse engineer the suit. The X2 frame served as the basis of Jupiter's Gundam, but it was enlarged with the final height being around 18 meters. This is considered large in late UC since everything else averaged around 15 meters. The reason for this height is mostly due to Jupiter's technological limitations, which prevented a one-to-one copy. Where the original Gundam comes in is in the cockpit, or the lack of it. The Amakusa was designed as a drone piloted by a biobrain with a copy of Amuro Rei's mind, the Amuro Rei. In the manga, it is said that they copied his combat data from the core fighter, which apparently the Federation just left floating in space. I guess, I don't know. But the brain also showed some new type capability, and I'm not entirely sure how that works, but apparently we can store new typeness in computers now, I guess. I don't know. That's weird. The mobile suit was developed in a secret hidden asteroid base, probably in the asteroid belt or maybe even the Kuiper belt, since that would be a lot harder to find. It was developed by this woman here. Who is she? It doesn't matter. She's a bit crazy and she did. The design, especially the torso, is entirely based on the X2. The rest, especially the legs and head, using Jupiter technology. The legs, or thighs to be more exact, are the ubiquitous retractable legs seen in many Jupiter mobile suits. That being said though, we don't actually ever see them retract if they can even do that. Probably they can't, who knows, we never see them. But they do seem stronger, because they can actually function under gravity. Edit! Look at this! A Batala walking on Earth! It can function on Earth! Unless, of course, horny lady here reinforced the legs, which is entirely possible. But as it stands, the Batala can walk! It's not just landing gears, it's actual functioning legs. It can at least walk on the Earth. Look at that. Is it a retcon? Probably. Who knows? Maybe the guy just forgot about it. There are two reasons why they use these legs. One is because they already had hundreds, if not thousands of these around, right? This would keep the supply chain from being stressed out because, well, parts are readily available. The other reason is that it is actually an improvement since the thighs house extra thrusters, which improve maneuverability. The other Jovian design is the head, where it uses the standard Jovian mono-eye rail design instead of a Gundam face. Though it does use a retractable faceplate, which gives it a face similar to that of the stereotypical Gundam. The Amakusa is equipped with weapons reminiscent of those of the original Gundam. Its main weapon is a beam rifle, but it has a grenade launcher attached to it. This beam rifle also has an alternate rapid firing mode. For melee, it carries the standard beam saber, which is stored somewhere. It just kind of appears in the manga, right? And it's there and it's not there anymore. In the SD Gundam animation, it like the Amakusa literally does a front flip and the thing is already in his hand. So who knows where that thing is where it comes from. What you may find curious is that it has a physical shield. In that era where almost everything is beam-based, this may seem like an odd thing to do, but there's a reason for it. Well, two actually. The first one is that it has a claw attached to the lower half of the shield. Obviously, you can use this to pinch stuff in half. The other reason, though, is that it is less of a shield and more of a housing for its hammer. Yes! The Gundam hammer returns. It is now built into the shield, which it can fire after both the shield and spike ball fold in together. Not entirely sure how this mechanism works, but that's how it is. The prototype was discovered by Judo Ashita himself inside a hidden base. There, he and Tobaya launched an assault to destroy the facility to prevent the Empire from successfully cloning Amuro's mind and putting them into mass production. It is there that they encountered the sole prototype with a perfected clone piloting it. It alone engaged the Crossbone Vanguard and even its own allies, since the engineers forgot to give it a proper IFF system, and single-handedly destroyed 17 mobile suits. Even Judo and Tobaya were forced back when they fought it. It was only through plot arc, through Tobias' quick thinking and new type abilities, that they were able to destroy the Amakusa by catching its hammer and redirecting it to itself before destroying it with the Crossbone's beam marker. And thus, that was not the end of the Amakusa, as it seemed that its build plan successfully escaped the facility and were soon put into production with the Amakusa mass production type. The MP version is largely the same, but with a standard cockpit installed instead, piloted by normal humans. Since what seems to be the main production facility for the bio-brains were destroyed, they had to use normal humans instead of Amuro's brain. The hammer shield was unfortunately eliminated for a conventional beam shield due to its unorthodox nature, which normal pilots could not utilize properly. In fact, it seemed that normal pilots could not use the suit to its full potential at all, since many were picked off quite easily during the Second War. And so, that was still not the end of the Amakusa, as it was used as the basis for two new models. We'll do only one today, because the other one is part of another series of model suits, and also is from a different manga. The Cornix, as detailed here in the sacred scriptures, is the perfected version of the Amakusa. Well, at least the perfected non-drone version. While the Empire put out the original model into production, it did not stop the development of the machine. Instead of trying to create another Gundam, they instead pivoted to outperform them outright, particularly the Crossbone Gundam that the Crossbone Vanguard uses. So by using the Amakusa, a mobile suit that by itself almost took down two Gundams, as the base, and mixing it with a previous model that was able to stand up against a Gundam, the Kovase, and applying the learnings from the prototypes' fight, the Jupiter Empire created this Griffith-looking thing, which was piloted by the new Emperor's brother, Callisto's Shadow. Much like the Kovase, the Cornix can transform into a bird-like mobile armor, but transforming method is different. Where the Kovase just tucks its arm together at the back and the legs is folded forward around the knee, the Cornix, however, quite literally switches the positions of his arms and legs by rotating them around. That circle you see in the midsection, that's its rotating point. The legs form the wings in this mode. With its additional thrusters, the Cornix could reach incredibly high speeds. Unlike the Kovaze, where the arms do nothing in this bird mode, the Cornix can still hold onto weapons during this mode, making it a lot more versatile in this regard. Also, using this transformation system, the pilot will be able to change the direction of flight suddenly, making it almost impossible to hit. Of course, this will only be possible if the pilot is skilled enough and possibly also a new type. The Cornix's main weapon is a beam machine gun, which also can double as an axe, a beam axe. Not gonna lie, this axe looks incredibly unwieldy. Like the beam part is not even on the edge, like it's the thing beneath it. Like if you look at this panel here, it looks like the metal bit would be doing the most contact than the beam would. Also, how did you survive this? Look how deep that slash is. He should be dead, literally. If there's a slash right there, right, your head should be gone, if not melted. How does beam work? Like, do they melt you or what? Anyway, it has the standard beam shield on both arms, or at least seemingly it does. We don't actually see it being used, but what else can it be, right? It has beam claws in its fingers, and like the Kovaze, it's got a mega particle cannon hidden inside its head. This perfected Gundam, in quotation marks, proved itself by completely overwhelming the one mobile suit it was designed to fight. The Cornix had the Crossbone Gundam dead to rights, but then this old man came in and spooked them off. Plot armor saves the day! The Cornix Impulse is the atmospheric version of the mobile suit and is by all accounts the same thing, except for having more aerodynamic surfaces, additional thrusters, and 14 feather funnels derived from the Divinidad. This is less of a separate model and more of a modular mission pack that can be installed. The Impulse showed the same level of performance, if not even better, as it was able to hold its own against an F-91, a Kovaze mass production type, and the X-1 Patchwork. It was only defeated after the X-1 caught its beam axe using its eye feel in its hand, preventing the Impulse from using its superior mobility. Even then, it still almost managed to destroy the X-1 before getting shot from behind. And that is actually the end of the Amakusa. Kind of, not really. At least it is for this video. The next mobile suit is the Empire's most advanced and powerful, the Dictus series of mobile suits, the personal units of the Emperor and his brother. Or it would have been his brother, but since he's dead, the other one is piloted by a brain clone. This mobile suit is the culmination of all the Empire's research into defeating not just the Crossbone Gundam, but essentially every Earth-based mobile suit. Just by looking at it, you can tell that the Dictus isn't exactly what you would call conventional. Each arm is a different size, with only one having a hand and the other having a sub-arm as a beam gun. The head is also offset to one side, with a mega particle cannon on the other side. This very odd shape is due to its mobile armor mode, where each Dictus would transform to a giant hand. Each limb will become the fingers of this giant hand, the head being the thumb, which is... I feel like that's like the last thing you want to stick out, kind of, you know, vulnerably, the head. But alright, the head is the thumb, I guess. I feel like it should have been... I feel like the thumb and the gun should have switched positions, but that's just me, man. At the end of each limb is a beam claw emitter, and these claws serve as the main weapons for the mobile suit, both in mobile armor mode and mobile suit mode. We mostly see it engage in melee fights in the manga, with range coming from the mega particle cannon and feather funnels that are stored in the rear skirt, which would be the back of the hand in mobile armor mode. Why is it shaped like a hand, you may ask? Well, from what I've found, it is literally because the Callisto brothers just wanted them to be hands. I mean, I guess seeing a giant hand coming at you pretty fast is kind of scary. But let's say that you caught it in an eye field, right? Then they will no longer have the beam weapons. What can they do? Well, it seems that the grip strength of this thing is incredibly strong, because it was able to crush the Tortuga and also the Icarus thingy, just like that. Well, if it's that dangerous, why not just shoot at it while it charges at you? It is a giant hand after all. Can't be that hard to shoot at it. You would think that'd be the case, but it is not. Not only is the Dictus fast, but it also has an eye field covering the whole front of it. Apparently, this is considered a weakness because it only covers the front, even though it is literally the same thing as the crossbone having eye field in its arms. Right? These arms, mostly they're at the front, right? They can't really. I mean, I guess they can move to the front to rotate to the back, but the Dictus can do that too. I don't see people calling it that a weakness. Literally the same thing, but the Dictus is bigger and probably stronger too, but it's still considered a weakness that it only covers the front, apparently. See, this is grade A Earth propaganda, right? That is subtly being included everywhere. You have to keep your eyes open, my fellow Jovians. You can't fall for it. Do not be susceptible to Earth BS. They have the same thing that functions the same way, but only one is considered a weakness? Fuck you! Also, this thing has a B-Max. And finally, we come to the final machine the Jupiter Empire created during its later years. It is a mobile armor. A rather stupid one, even I must admit. This is the Elecopty mobile armor, designed to carry mobile suits while within the atmosphere. Using an early version of beam rotor technology, it is able to carry 2 mobile suits in its hands while it flies. But that is not the stupid part of it. Apparently, we Jovians are that stupid, according to Earth sources, of course, that we can't figure out what gravity is. And because of that, we Jovians decided to have the rotor blades that keep this thing in the air also be the landing gears. Yes, in order for this thing to land and take off, it needs to rotate. It needs to like do a 180-degree flip every single time. Why can't it just land that flatbed there? No one knows. Those look like hatches for landing gears, but I guess they're not. What are they? I don't know. Bomb base maybe, but I don't think this thing would need bomb base because its fingers can shoot. That would be a lot more accurate than bombs. But you know what the funniest thing about this whole rotating thing is? Is that when it flips, the pilot will be the only one that will survive it unscathed because like they're sitting at this like, you know, rotating chair. Or what seems to be a rotating chair. We don't see any other chairs like this, right? Maybe there are some, but just going by what we see inside of this thing, there's only one. So literally, if there's more than one guy, if there's any other person inside this thing, passenger for example, you board it, and then you will literally just immediately break your neck when the thing just flips. What? I'm sorry, this is a stupid design in universe and also kind of out universe as well. I'm not sure what happened here, but okay, something happened here. But there is one saving grace for this thing though. Yes, that's one good thing, I would say. To enter it, you need to go through its and yet again, that is another week of Jupiter mobile suits from the Gundam universe. Our brothers and sisters from another universe. But it's still not the end. There's at least one more. It could be 2 more. But the next one will be the Focus suits. I don't know if I'll be able to do all of them at once, actually, now think about it, because there's a lot of them, actually. It's like 8. Maybe I'll do like 4 each. Something like that. The Focus stuff, right? The Focus 1000 Circus, one of those two, how you say it. But I also think X11 might have more stuff. I think the Jupiter Empire is still, what do you call it, active around X11. Maybe like remnants or something. Something Jovian is still active around X11, which is not fully translated yet. I don't mind. I could try reading raw, which, I mean, I do read raws. Well, I say I read raws, but I don't read raws. I get the raws, and then I use like Google Lens to translate it for me. I could do that. I probably will do that, but I need to read Dust first because that comes after Dust. That's technically a sequel to Dust. So I need to read Dust first, which also isn't fully translated. So doing this method where I read through Google Lens, it's gonna take a little bit. It's gonna take a little bit of time before I'm able to reach what do you call that, X11. I know There's one X11 mobile armor. They have one new mobile armor, but I'm not sure if they have any new mobile suits. I'll just have to wait and see, I guess. I wait and see until we get to that point. I probably gonna have to take a little break before I do the X11 stuff. Not break, no. I'll have to like do other things first in between while I read that thing, which might take a while. So who knows when I'm gonna do the X11 stuff? Assuming, of course, there are a lot of new things. I don't know if there's. I know there's at least one new mobile armor based on the thing the I forgot what it's called. The thing that kind of looks like the big Zom. That thing. But anyway, that is for this week's my briefing pilot. What? My briefing pilots. My fellow pilots and Jovians. If you'd like to see more of these briefings and learn more of our other universe Jovians, then please do consider joining the fleet. Right? We have contact with them somehow. I don't know how. Occasionally we intercept their communications even though they're in different universe. I don't know how that works, but it works somehow, some way. It works. We can intercept communications for them, and we sometimes talk to them. Right, and you might be able to talk to them as well. Maybe even pilot one. Maybe they send their build plans over to us, and then we can make our own Batalas. Yes, maybe if you want to pilot a Batala, then join the fleet by clicking the subscribe button. Yes, you'll be given a suit, not a mech, not too far after training is done. Or if you're not willing to join the fleet, because of course military life is quite spooky, and I'm sure no one likes to get shot at, which is understandable. Then maybe you could just leave a like or a comment, and that will help me in the algorithm, which will then boost this video to other people who are a lot more brave than you, pussy. They'll join the fleet while you cower in your hole. Huh! The hole that is known as my graveyard, my personal graveyard, the Discord. You can come in there, not that come, and chat with me. Or anyone else. I mostly just post, what do you call that, memes I steal from other servers. I just repost it there, because they're kind of funny. Well, most of them are kind of funny. Some of them are kind of fucked up, to be completely honest. But also funny. I stream my my training sessions. Yes, my training sessions and the simulations that we have loaded into our computers that we use to improve our skills, right? You can watch me improve myself, and maybe improve your own skills as you learn from my mistakes, right? The learning experience, my simulation streams, indeed, yes. Glory to the Jupiter colony, glory to my fellow pilots, Jovians, and everybody else in this side of space. Take care of yourselves, fuck those Earthnoids, but remember, as you kill them, total of death, as I keep saying, is to not die yourself, because that will be counterproductive for the fleet. So please do not fucking die.